Hi everyone, this is Mr. Hurley. I'm going to take you through how to multiply a fraction by a whole number. I'm hoping that you watch this so that you can help your child at home if they are struggling with any type of multiplication with fraction by a whole number, so that you can help them or they can watch this video for extra support. I will go through this hopefully slow enough so that everyone can follow and that kids understand. So the first thing we're going to do with multiplying a fraction by a whole number is obviously we need to have an equation. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to take 1/2 multiplied by 400, or yeah, 400. Now, the way we do this is we think of multiplication as of 1/2 of 400. Now, a lot of people are going to know that 1/2 of 400 equals 200. To demonstrate how we solve this is we're going to use the candy bar strategy, what the kids have already known how to do. Some people think of it as a rectangle or a piece of wood. So we're going to draw a candy bar with a rectangle. It looks just like so. Okay. Now, what I tell students with this is our candy bar is going to have calories because that's what they associate food with. It's a good way to attach their brain to that knowledge so they know what to do. Now, at the left side of our candy bar right here is we're going to put 0 because if we eat none of that candy bar, we're going to get 0 calories. And at the end of it, if we eat all the candy bar, we would get 400 calories. So we write 400 down. Now, with the candy bar, since we have a denominator of 2 and our fraction is 1/2, we're going to cut our candy bar in half, like so. This way we get our denominator of 2 so that kids can see that we have 2 whole pieces of the candy bar. Now, the next thing we need to do is to identify that line, how much that line would be if we were to eat this amount of the candy bar, this first half, how many calories would that be? So I asked students what that would be. They would come up with 200 because 200 would be half of 400. So we write down our 200. Now with this, we're going to look at the numerator now, which is number 1. Okay, when looking at the number 1, this number identifies or tells us that we need to shade or stripe in one of them. I'm going to use the color green to help show this. Okay, so what I'll do is I'll go over to my box and I'll stripe in that side, showing that I have used that much of the candy bar. And obviously if they go over the line, that's okay, it's not a big deal. So now I'll ask the students is how much of the candy bar has been eaten, and they'll say 1/2. And I'll ask them how many calories is 1/2 of that candy bar then. They would say 200. So we'd have 1/2 multiplied by 400 would give us an answer of 200. So that will be the strategy that we'll be using for all of multiplication by a whole number. Now, let's say we have fourths. So I'm going to go ahead and erase all the information that I have. I will just do go back and remove everything. And you can always pause, rewind, so that you know what to do. Now let's say we have something like 5/6, a different fraction that doesn't have 2. So we have a fraction of 5/6. I will make that a little bit thicker so you guys can see that better. And let's say we are multiplying it by 180. Or let's just do 18. We'll do 18. So we have 18. So the first step again would be we draw our candy bar. And the overall question we're asking is 5/6 of 18. So with our candy bar, we go back and we look at our denominator. We have 6. Okay, so and then what we have to do is we have to break this candy bar up into 6. How I like to do it is I just cut it into thirds like so, and then I just cut each one in half. So now we have 6 chunks of our candy bar that we broke up, kind of like a Hershey's chocolate bar. You get all those chunks, and you could also use that with helping your kids with fractions by actually using the candy bar and explaining how each one is a certain amount of calories. Now, the next thing we need to do is identify the first line that we have right here, and that would be our 0, because if we ate 0 chunks, we'd eat 0 calories. If we ate all of it at the end, we would get 18 calories. So with these 18 calories, it'd be the whole candy bar. Now the thing is, we're not eating the whole candy bar. We're eating 5 chunks of it. So the way we'd have to do this is we need to figure out a number that we can count by 6 times to get to 18. Now a lot of students will think of 18 divided by 6, which is the correct way of doing that. If they are having a tough time identifying a number that can count by, you can always do the hangman strategy of having your 6, and then we'd have 18 in the middle, and then we have to figure out how many times we can multiply 6 by a number to get to 18. They would know it's 3, we'd have our 18, and then we subtract, which would get 0. So we're going to count by 3. So we'd have 3, 6, 9, 12, and then 15. I like to stagger sometimes because if our candy bars aren't too big, numbers run into each other and then students get confused. So now that we have our numbers, what we're going to do is we need to go back to our 5/6 and know that we've already used our 6, our denominators, our total chunks of our candy bar. Now the next thing we need to do is look at our numerator and know that we are going to eat or stripe in 5 of those candy bars. And students don't need to use a different color. I just like using a different color just to show what we've been doing or what we're using. So I'm going to stripe in 5. So I go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I know I'm going to end at the 5th line, and I'm going to be striping in those 5. Now then I ask students is, so what is 5, 6 multiplied by 18? They should know or notice that we have striped in 5 of those candy bars and we have ended at the 5th bar, which means our number is now 15. So then our answer of 5, 6 multiplied by 18 would give us the answer of 15. So this is the strategy we'll be using for solving any multiplication of fractions by a whole number. I'll also have another video of how we can do mixed fractions multiplied by a fraction and fractions multiplied by a fraction. If you have any questions, please feel free to email me at any time, and I'll try to help you as best as possible. Thank you for watching.